Imagine waking up one morning with a strange tingling sensation in your mind, like time itself is bending around you. You sit at your trading desk, staring at the glowing candles on your screen, when suddenly, the charts begin to shimmer and twist in ways you've never seen before. The numbers blur and shift, and before you know it, you're staring at tomorrow's market. Every spike, every dip, every trade already played out. Retail traders panic as stop losses are triggered, while institutions move quietly and perfectly, capturing profits you can only dream of. Welcome to Profit Pulse, the channel where we explore trading not just as numbers, but as a story, a strategy, and sometimes even a thriller. Here we uncover the hidden patterns, the psychology, and the secret moves of smart money, so you can see the market in a way most traders never will. The thrill is electric. The temptation is overwhelming. Every move you see could make you millions, but one question burns in your mind. If you have the power to see the future, can you resist the urge to act on it, or will the fantasy of instant riches take over? The lines between reality and imagination blur as the charts keep flowing, revealing a world of opportunity, danger, and untold secrets waiting to be discovered. As the shimmering charts continue to unfold, you realize that this isn't just random chaos. Every spike, every sudden drop has a story. You see the footprints of institutions, the invisible hands moving the market with precision, and suddenly, the chaos begins to make sense. Candles that once confused you now tell a tale of buying pressure here, selling pressure there, and hidden liquidity lurking just out of sight. You notice patterns repeating themselves, almost like the market is giving you a map, a trail that, if followed carefully, could predict the next big move. Your heart races as you think about the possibilities. What if you could learn to read these signals without a literal time machine? What if the key to seeing the future of the market was hidden in the past, waiting for those who are willing to observe, analyze, and act with discipline? Every move you witness now feels like a secret lesson, a glimpse into the mind of smart money. And the more you watch, the more you realize that time travel in trading isn't about magic. It's about understanding, awareness, and strategy. You lean closer to the screen, every candle and volume spike now glowing like clues on a treasure map. The market's story is unfolding in real time, or perhaps it's the story of the future you're witnessing. You see retail traders making the same mistakes over and over, chasing breakouts, getting trapped in stop-loss hunts, and panicking at the wrong moments. Meanwhile, institutions glide through these waves effortlessly, capturing profits with almost surgical precision. The more you watch, the more you begin to understand their language. The subtle pauses, the sudden bursts, the way liquidity is gathered before a big move. It's as if the market is alive, leaving breadcrumbs for those who know how to read them. You feel both exhilaration and caution. Every step you take in this world of time-shifted charts could either make you or break you. And then a thought hits you. What if you could take this superpower and turn it into a skill anyone could learn? A method to see the patterns of tomorrow by studying the footprints of yesterday. The realization hits you like a jolt. This isn't just about seeing the future, it's about decoding the past. Each candle, each wick, each volume spike is a message left behind by smart money, quietly revealing their strategy to anyone paying close enough attention. You start tracing the paths of these big players, noticing how price reacts to certain levels, where liquidity pools are hidden, and how stop-loss hunts are orchestrated. The more you connect the dots, the clearer the market story becomes, like a thriller unraveling before your eyes. You feel a strange mix of excitement and discipline. It's no longer about instant riches, but about learning to anticipate the moves, almost as if you're living multiple timelines at once. The fantasy of time travel begins to merge with reality, showing you that with the right observation and understanding, predicting market behavior isn't magic, it's skill. And in that moment, you realize that being a time traveler in trading isn't about luck. It's about seeing patterns where others see chaos and acting with precision when the moment is right. As you continue watching the charts unfold, you notice something even more fascinating. The market repeats itself. The same setups, the same liquidity traps, the same sudden bursts of momentum happen again and again, like echoes through time. You begin to map these recurring patterns in your mind, connecting past events to potential future moves. Each observation feels like a secret code being unlocked, a small window into the strategies of institutions that most traders never notice. You start realizing that what once seemed like unpredictable chaos is actually a sequence of deliberate moves, a story written in candles and volume. The thrill of this discovery is intoxicating. You're no longer just a spectator. You're learning to anticipate, to position yourself ahead of the crowd, and to interpret the market as if you had glimpsed tomorrow. And yet, even with this knowledge, a question lingers. Can you master the discipline to act wisely, or will the temptation of instant profits cloud your judgment, just like it does for so many traders every day? With each passing candle, the market begins to feel like a living, breathing entity. You notice the subtle shifts in momentum, the pauses before a breakout, and the hidden zones where liquidity gathers like an invisible tide. It's as if the market itself is guiding you, leaving hints for those willing to observe closely. You start imagining the possibilities. If you can identify these footprints consistently, you could position yourself ahead of most traders, almost like having a sneak peek into the future. The thrill builds, but so does the tension. Every decision now feels weighted with potential. You realize that this superpower isn't about gambling, it's about strategy, timing, and understanding the story the market is telling. The lines between fantasy and reality blur further, and you begin to see that time travel in trading isn't about bending time. It's about seeing the patterns, understanding the flow, and learning to move with precision before the crowd reacts. The shimmering charts fade slightly, bringing you back to reality. You realize that, as thrilling as seeing tomorrow's market might feel, there's no literal time machine. Yet the clues you just witnessed aren't magic. They're patterns left behind by smart money, like footprints in the sand. Retail traders continue to panic and chase moves blindly, repeating the same mistakes day after day, while institutions move with quiet precision, guided by strategy and observation. This is where the real power lies, in learning to read the past, understanding how price reacted in previous scenarios, and using that knowledge to anticipate future moves. Every wick, every spike, every volume surge holds a story waiting to be decoded. You start to understand that the fantasy of time travel can become a practical skill if you learn to track the footprints of those who truly control the market. You begin to focus on the historical charts, tracing the moments where price reacted sharply, where liquidity was captured, and where retail traders got trapped. Each of these events feels like a clue left intentionally, a pattern that repeats itself across days, weeks, and months. Slowly, a map begins to form in your mind, a roadmap of market behavior. You notice how certain levels act like magnets, drawing price toward them before snapping back, and how clusters of stop losses create opportunities for institutions to enter. The more you observe, the more it becomes clear. Predicting market moves isn't about luck or a crystal ball. It's about studying the past meticulously, understanding the behavior of smart money, and recognizing the footprints they leave behind. In a way, this is your first taste of time travel, seeing tomorrow's market through the lens of yesterday's actions. As you dive deeper, you start connecting the dots between multiple past moves, realizing that the market follows a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. Certain setups repeat, certain reactions are predictable, and the behavior of smart money leaves subtle but consistent trails. You notice how breakouts often fail near hidden liquidity zones, how sudden spikes flush out weak hands, and how price consolidations hint at the next big move. Each observation feels like a piece of a puzzle falling into place, revealing a bigger picture that most traders never see. The thrill of understanding this pattern grows, and you begin to see that mastering this skill doesn't require a superpower. It requires patience, discipline, and the ability to read the market's story written in the language of candles, volume, and structure. With each new pattern you uncover, the realization hits harder. The market isn't random chaos. It's a sequence of deliberate moves by smart money, repeating in ways that reveal themselves to those who pay attention. You start imagining yourself positioning ahead of the crowd, anticipating moves before they happen, almost as if you've glimpsed the future. The charts now feel alive, guiding you with every wick, every spike, every pause. You understand that this isn't about gambling or chasing instant profits. It's about learning to see the market's story, reading the footprints of institutions, and making informed, precise decisions. In that moment, the fantasy of time travel starts to merge with reality, showing you that seeing the future in trading is less about magic and more about mastering the past. Now the patterns become clearer, almost like a secret language unfolding before your eyes. You notice how previous highs and lows act as invisible guides, how clusters of orders create tension points, and how momentum shifts can be anticipated if you know where to look. Every spike, every retracement, every consolidation tells a story of fear, greed, and strategy. You start to map these events mentally, connecting past setups to potential future moves, and a sense of clarity washes over you. The thrill is no longer just about instant wealth. It's about understanding, predicting, and acting with precision, using the lessons hidden in the market's history to navigate the chaos of the present. As you continue analyzing, a realization dawns. Every seemingly random move in the market is actually part of a larger pattern. The footprints of smart money become unmistakable. The subtle pauses before a breakout, the sudden bursts that trap retail traders, the way liquidity is gathered before a major move. You start to see the market as a story unfolding, with past events offering clues to what might happen next. Each chart, each candle, each volume spike becomes a piece of the puzzle, revealing strategies that can be anticipated and leveraged. The more you study, the more you understand that this time travel in trading isn't magic. It's the power of observation, pattern recognition, and disciplined action that turns past lessons into future opportunities. The first step in turning this time travel fantasy into reality is learning to read the market's past. You focus on the footprints left by smart money, the liquidity zones where big players gather orders, the stop-loss clusters that trap retail traders, and the swing points that signal potential reversals. Each past move becomes a lesson. You notice how price reacts consistently at certain levels, how breakouts often fail near hidden liquidity, and how consolidation patterns hint at the next big move. By studying these historical setups, you start to see recurring sequences, almost like a pattern language the market speaks fluently. The key is observation and patience. By mapping these past events carefully, you can anticipate future moves with precision, turning the fantasy of predicting the market into a practical skill anyone can learn. You begin applying these insights to live charts, overlaying past patterns onto the current market. Slowly, the chaos starts to make sense. Price moves with purpose, not randomness. You see how previous liquidity zones act as magnets, how stop-loss hunts repeat in predictable ways, and how momentum shifts follow a rhythm established by smart money. Each candle now tells a story: buyers, sellers, traps, and opportunities. By connecting the dots between historical data and present price action, you start to build a mental map of probable future moves. It's as if the market is offering you a roadmap, and every observation you make strengthens your ability to anticipate what comes next, giving you a near time traveler advantage without ever leaving your desk. As you refine this skill, you notice patterns within patterns. Micro moves inside larger swings, subtle clues hidden in volume and wick behavior, and recurring setups that most traders overlook. It feels like decoding a secret language. The market communicates through these tiny signals, guiding those who are patient and attentive. You begin to see opportunities forming before they fully materialize, almost like catching glimpses of the future. The thrill is no longer just about imagining wealth. It's about understanding the flow, recognizing institutional behavior, and positioning yourself ahead of the crowd. Every observation reinforces the idea that time travel in trading isn't magic. It's mastering the art of reading the past to predict what's coming next. With each new chart you study, the confidence grows. You start identifying setups where retail traders are likely to panic, where stop-loss clusters will be hit, and where institutions are quietly accumulating positions. Every candle, every retracement, every breakout begins to feel predictable, as if the market is revealing its secrets only to those who pay attention. You realize that this is the essence of time travel in trading. By understanding past patterns and institutional behavior, you can anticipate moves before they happen. The line between fantasy and reality blurs. What once seemed like a superpower now becomes a skill, a combination of observation, analysis, and disciplined action that gives you the edge to navigate the market with almost prophetic insight. The more you practice this approach, the clearer the map of the market becomes. You begin to see not just isolated setups, but sequences, how one liquidity hunt leads into a breakout, how consolidation signals a coming surge, and how momentum aligns with institutional footprints. Each observation reinforces your understanding, turning what once felt like chaos into a structured story of price, psychology, and strategy. You start predicting potential moves with increasing accuracy, feeling a sense of control that most traders never experience. It's in this rhythm, reading the past, anticipating the future, that the fantasy of time travel transforms into a tangible trading skill, giving you a perspective that feels almost superhuman. And then comes the realization. The market story is endless, with patterns repeating across timeframes and instruments. Each day offers new lessons, new footprints left by smart money, and new opportunities to apply what you've learned. You notice that even small setups, when read correctly, can provide significant clues about bigger moves ahead. The charts are no longer intimidating. They're a narrative waiting to be understood, a puzzle that rewards those who pay attention. In this moment, you feel the power of true insight. By studying the past meticulously, you're not just reacting to the market, you're anticipating it, navigating it with a precision that feels almost like seeing the future without ever leaving the present. As you continue mapping these patterns, you start seeing connections across multiple time frames. A spike on the daily chart echoes a trap on the hourly chart. A consolidation zone on the weekly chart hints at where price might stall today. It's like watching multiple timelines at once, each revealing clues for the next move. The thrill grows with every insight. You realize that time travel in trading isn't about luck, it's about perspective. By observing, analyzing, and linking past events to present setups, you gain an edge that most traders never even consider. The market begins to feel less like a gamble and more like a story you can read, anticipate, and navigate with strategy, turning fantasy into skill. And then a deeper understanding sinks in. The patterns aren't just about price, they're about human behavior. Fear, greed, impatience, and overconfidence all leave marks on the charts. Retail traders repeat mistakes, while institutions exploit them with precision. By studying these behavioral footprints, you begin to predict not only the moves of the market, but also the likely reactions of traders caught in it. Every candle, every wick, every spike becomes a chapter in a larger story. And by reading it carefully, you gain the ability to act with foresight. The fantasy of seeing the future slowly transforms into a practical skill, observing the past to anticipate what comes next, almost like having a window into tomorrow. As you continue, you notice that the market story is layered. Short-term fluctuations are intertwined with long-term trends, and every move has context. The same setup that traps a retail trader today may repeat in a slightly different form tomorrow, leaving behind new clues. You begin to mentally catalog these recurring sequences, almost like creating a personal library of market behaviors. With each observation, your ability to anticipate the next move strengthens. The thrill of time travel becomes less about fantasy and more about mastery. Reading the footprints of the past to navigate the present and position yourself ahead of the crowd, turning insight into opportunity. As you sit back and watch the charts unfold, a twist becomes clear. The market doesn't just repeat, it tests. It throws false signals, sudden spikes, and fake breakouts to see who reacts with emotion and who acts with discipline. Retail traders panic, chasing the move or getting trapped in stop-loss hunts, while those who've learned to read the past remain calm, positioning themselves ahead of the crowd. You realize that time travel isn't just about predicting price. It's about understanding the mindset behind every move, the psychology that drives retail mistakes, and the subtle strategies institutions use to profit. The thrill intensifies as you see how patterns align, how traps are set, and how foresight becomes power. Each observation feels like uncovering a secret the market has been hiding. And the more you see, the more you understand that mastery comes not from luck, but from reading the story the market is telling in every candle and every volume spike. The market seems almost alive now, testing your perception and patience at every turn. You watch as price approaches a liquidity zone. Some traders jump in impulsively, others hesitate, and a few who have studied the past position themselves perfectly. It's a delicate dance of anticipation and strategy, and you realize that this is where true advantage lies, in observing reactions, recognizing traps, and acting only when the setup aligns with historical patterns. The thrill builds as you begin to see multiple scenarios unfolding simultaneously, each offering a lesson in discipline, foresight, and the psychology of trading. In this moment, the fantasy of time travel merges completely with reality, showing that understanding the story of the market is the closest thing to seeing the future itself. You start noticing even smaller details. The pauses before a breakout, subtle wicks testing hidden orders, and micro-reversals that most traders overlook. These tiny movements, when connected to past patterns, reveal the intentions of smart money in real time. It's like watching multiple layers of a story unfold simultaneously, each offering clues to the next move. You feel the thrill of anticipation, knowing that every correct observation gives you an edge over the crowd. The market no longer feels random. It feels like a narrative that rewards patience, discipline, observation. The closer you look, the more you understand that time travel in trading is about reading these stories accurately and acting with precision, turning insight into a tangible advantage. And then it hits you. The market's tests are endless, and mastery comes from continuously observing, learning, and adapting. Every setup, every spike, every trap is a lesson in human behavior and institutional strategy. You realize that the thrill of seeing the future isn't in instant wealth, but in understanding the forces that shape the market and using that knowledge to make informed, disciplined decisions. With each observation, you refine your ability to anticipate moves almost as if you've glimpsed tomorrow. The fantasy of time travel transforms into a powerful skill, interpreting the past to navigate the present with clarity, patience, and precision. You begin to see the bigger picture. The market is a living system of repeating behaviors, emotional triggers, and strategic moves. Every liquidity trap, breakout, and consolidation zone is part of a larger narrative, a story written by the actions of both retail and institutional traders. By connecting these past events to current price action, you start predicting potential outcomes with increasing confidence. It's no longer just about imagining the future. It's about systematically decoding the market's language, turning what once seemed like chaotic movement into a roadmap of opportunities. The excitement builds as you realize that this skill, reading the past to anticipate the next move, is the closest thing to time travel in trading that anyone can truly achieve. As you continue, you notice that even when the market shifts unexpectedly, there are subtle clues hidden in past price action that hint at what's coming next. Every failed breakout, every sudden spike, and every consolidation now feels like a test of your observation and patience. You start linking these events across multiple time frames, realizing that the market communicates consistently if you know how to listen. Each insight strengthens your ability to anticipate moves, giving you a sense of control that most traders never experience. The fantasy of time travel becomes tangible, not through magic, but through careful study, pattern recognition, and disciplined execution, turning past lessons into future opportunities. Now, you notice the rhythm of the market, the way price reacts, retreats, and surges again, almost like a heartbeat. Each swing, each liquidity hunt, each micro-reversal is a signal, a message left by institutions and repeated patterns of retail behavior. You realize that mastering this rhythm is key. By observing the past, connecting setups, and interpreting market psychology, you can anticipate the moves before they happen. It's as if you're no longer just watching the market. You're reading a story, predicting its next chapters, and positioning yourself ahead of the crowd. The sensation of time travel becomes real, grounded in skill, strategy, and deep understanding of the market's narrative. With every chart you study, the sense of anticipation grows. You start recognizing how smaller patterns fit into larger trends, how liquidity zones on one time frame align with breakouts on another, and how the behavior of traders repeats across sessions. Each observation reinforces the idea that the market is a story waiting to be read, and your ability to connect past events to potential future moves feels almost like glimpsing tomorrow. The thrill is not just in predicting price, it's in decoding the intentions behind every candle, every wick, and every spike, transforming the fantasy of time travel into a practical skill that gives you an edge in trading. The market story keeps unfolding, and you feel a sense of mastery building as you connect past patterns to potential future moves. Yet even with this insight, the journey is far from over. The market will continue to test, surprise, and teach. Here on Profit Pulse, we'll keep exploring these hidden patterns, decoding the footprints of smart money, and learning how to navigate the market with precision. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into advanced liquidity setups and show you exactly how to identify the zones where institutions make their moves. Stay tuned, because the closer you look, the more the market reveals, and the more your time travel skills in trading become real.